All right, let's dive right into it. Today, we're taking a deep plunge into, well, a digital dilemma almost everyone experiences but rarely fully understands. We're talking about the vexing world of computer glitches, and maybe more specifically, the unseen threat of viruses.
Yes, the everyday frustration meets hidden tech.
Exactly. And we'll be sifting through some truly insightful sources today. They don't just meticulously explain what a computer virus is, which is useful, sure, but they also illuminate the everyday language we instinctively use, to grapple with these frustrating digital nuisances.
The words we actually reach for when things go wrong.
Right. So our mission today is really to equip you with that insider knowledge, to demystify why your computer might be acting up, as they say, and also to give you the precise, simple phrases that help you articulate and hopefully ultimately resolve these issues. Think of it like a shortcut to being not just informed, but, well, empowered.
And what's truly fascinating here, I think, is how this seemingly cold technical issue, a computer virus, it deeply intertwines with our very human daily frustrations. And like you said, the precise words we unconsciously choose to describe them will connect the practical dots, the sheer exasperation of a computer freezing, and the absolutely critical importance of keeping things up to date in your digital life. That phrase keeps coming up.
It does.
So this deep dive into our sources, it raises an incredibly important question, really. How profoundly does our understanding of simple, natural language impact our ability to effectively troubleshoot, communicate about, and ultimately maintain our intricate digital lives?
Good. Okay.
It's often these small, seemingly mundane phrases, I find, that truly bridge that vast gap between complex technical jargon and truly practical, actionable solutions.
Yeah, making it understandable. Okay, so let's start with that frustration. Section 1. You know that moment, don't you? That primal urge to just, let out a guttural scream at your screen when it utterly betrays you.
Oh, I think everyone listening knows that feeling.
Our sources perfectly capture this universal agony. They start right there with someone exclaiming, "Oh, great, the stupid computer froze again."
Aha! Yes. Instantly relatable.
It's such a universally relatable sentiment, isn't it? That immediate heart-sinking feeling when a technology which you rely on so utterly just decides to cease cooperating.
It feels personal, like it's doing it on purpose.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just an inconvenience, is it? It feels like a personal affront. So how do we even begin to describe that vague, unsettling feeling when your device, your supposedly reliable partner, suddenly just doesn't quite work right?
Well, that's a crucial point. How do we articulate that sense of vague, unsettling digital malaise? Our sources brilliantly highlight the phrase acting up again.
Ah, yes, acting up.
It's incredibly descriptive, isn't it? Unlike saying maybe his computer was acting strangely or his computer isn't working properly, which are fine, sure.
Yeah, perfectly correct.
But acting up is so natural, so colloquial. It perfectly captures that sense of erratic, unpredictable, almost willful behavior.
Willful, yeah. Like it has a mind of its own.
Right. It immediately signals that something is amiss without needing a technical diagnosis. And importantly, the inclusion of it, again, implies a recurring pattern. This isn't a one-off glitch. It's a persistent, irritating problem.
Which makes it even more frustrating.
Absolutely. And beyond the surface frustration, there's a truly fascinating psychological layer here. When we say a computer is acting up, we're almost anthropomorphizing it, aren't we?
Yeah, we totally are. Treating it like a person or a grumpy pet.
Exactly. It suggests a living, petulant entity rather than just an inert machine. And this evokes a profound sense of exasperation because it's not a clear-cut breakdown where you know what's wrong. It's a series of inconsistent, unpredictable glitches that disrupt your workflow, your focus, your enjoyment.
Makes you feel like the computer's deliberately messing with you.
Precisely. This perceived willfulness, even in an inanimate object, can be incredibly disorienting and frustrating because, well, you can't reason with it.
You can't argue it into working.
Yeah.
So from acting up to the absolute worst. And then there's the ultimate digital nightmare, right? The true moment of despair for any computer user, the freeze.
Ugh, the freeze.
That chilling moment, your screen locks, the cursor vanishes or just sits there mocking you. Every desperate click yields nothing but static silence. What exactly does it mean when your computer froze beyond just the immediate panic? It's not just a minor hiccup, is it?
Not at all.
It feels like your entire digital world just went silent, flatlining right before your eyes.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, a froze computer, as precisely defined in our sources, means it stopped working. Your applications or your programs stopped working, and you just can't do anything.
Nothing. You're stuck.
Exactly. It feels quite simply broken, but in a particularly insidious way because it's still on, often just utterly unresponsive.
Taunting you with its light.
Right. This isn't a minor inconvenience. It's a complete, abrupt halt to productivity or leisure. Imagine being deep in an important email or a work report or even just a video call.
Oh yeah, the worst timing.
And then, instantly, everything grinds to an absolute halt. The screen transforms into a static, unyielding image. Your mouse clicks. Ignored. Your keyboard. Useless.
It's an immediate, impenetrable barrier. Cuts you off completely.
It really does. And our source amusingly notes this complete cessation of function, which, as you highlighted, can indeed lead to desperate measures.
Huh. Yes, the source gives us this hilarious but tragically relatable line. Try not to kick or hit the computer.
Good advice, if hard to follow sometimes.
Apparently, one of the hosts in the source material even openly admits to kicking and punching their own computer when it freezes.
Wow, okay. They admitted it.
They did. And, I can honestly say I've felt that exact urge. Standing there, staring at that unresponsive screen.
Yeah.
Picturing giving it a solid whack. Maybe I haven't done it, but I've felt it.
I think most people have been there, mentally at least.
So what does this tell us? It highlights the profound, almost visceral emotional connection we have forged with our digital devices. We depend on them so heavily that their failure feels like a deep personal betrayal, doesn't it?
It really does.
It's not just a machine. It's an extension of our work, our social lives, our access to information, our creativity, our connection to the world.
And this really reflects a deep, almost primal frustration that goes way beyond simple annoyance. When a tool so utterly essential to our daily existence suddenly becomes unresponsive, it triggers a powerful, often immediate emotional response.
It's like a key breaking off in a lock you desperately need to open.
Exactly. It's the gateway to our livelihood, our communication, our entertainment, our learning, our ability to function in the modern world. When that critical gateway slams shut unexpectedly, the feeling of helplessness, of being cut off, can be overwhelming.
Yeah, pure powerlessness.
So the advice, try not to kick or hit the computer, while delivered with humor, it profoundly underscores the deep user irritation and sense of powerlessness stemming from these glitches. It's a stark testament to how integral these machines are. Their malfunction can evoke such a raw, visceral reaction.
It suggests a complete loss of control, which is just inherently deeply frustrating for anyone trying to get something done. The ultimate digital roadblock.
Precisely.
Okay, so your computer acts up, it freezes. That immediate go-to thought for so many people, as echoed in our sources, is it must have a virus or something.
The default explanation.
It's become the default culprit, hasn't it? The unseen, insidious enemy lurking in the digital shadows. But what is a computer virus, truly? Is it just any glitch, any random malfunction, or is there something far more specific and, well, sinister at play?
Well, the precise technical explanation from our sources is exceptionally clear on this. They state, a computer virus is a program that is designed to harm or to damage your computer.
Designed to harm. Okay, that's the key part.
Absolutely crucial. Because it fundamentally differentiates a virus from just a general malfunction, like a software bug, an application crash, maybe a hardware issue.
Right, those things happen, but they aren't usually malicious.
Exactly. Unlike those, a computer virus is intentional. It's a meticulously crafted program, often self-replicating, designed with a specific malicious purpose.
Okay, so that raises an incredibly important question. What exact kind of harm or damage can such a program actually inflict?
Good question. It's far more than just slowing things down, although that can happen too. It can lead to infected files, which our sources define as files in your computer that has a virus in it.
So the virus gets inside your files.
Yes, essentially compromising them. They might have hidden malicious codes stealthily embedded within them, or they could be rendered completely unreadable or unopenable, effectively turning your valuable documents, photos, work files into digital rubble.
Oh, wow. So you could lose stuff permanently.
Potentially, yes. And crucially, these infected files don't just sit there passively. They often act as active vectors.
Vectors. Like they spread it.
Exactly. They're ready to spread the virus further to other files on your system, maybe attach themselves to emails you send to unsuspecting contacts, or even spread across networks if you share the file, turning your single infection into a potential digital epidemic for others.
That's pretty scary. One infected file could multiply the problem.
It can. And consider the truly devastating implications of such a digital attack. You could face rampant data corruption, where years of memories or critical business records just vanish or become indecipherable.
Nightmare scenario.
Or the insidious loss of personal information. Many viruses are expertly designed to steal sensitive data passwords, financial details, confidential info.
Leading to identity thefts or fraud.
Precisely. You could also experience severe system instability, frequent crashes, erratic behavior, that constant sense of digital dread. And in the worst-case scenarios, a virus can render your computer completely inoperable.
Turning into an expensive paperweight.
A literal dead weight. The core intent of a virus is never helpful. It's always to disrupt, to destroy, or to steal. It's targeted digital sabotage.
That really clarifies the malicious intent part.
Yeah.
Okay, but that brings up a really crucial point. Because one character in the dialogue states, quite reasonably, I think, "I'm quite careful when I'm browsing the internet. I have no idea how I could have picked up a virus."
A very common sentiment.
It really is, isn't it? We're constantly told, be careful, click wisely, avoid suspicious links. So what does this tell us? If someone is genuinely careful, how do these viruses still manage to sneak in?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It implies that being careful isn't always, or perhaps often isn't enough, right? It strongly suggests there's a deeper, more active layer to digital protection than just our conscious browsing habits. Hints at an ongoing battle.
This perfectly transitions us to an absolutely vital point extracted from our sources, one that many users unfortunately overlook. It's not always, or even primarily, about how you browse the internet in terms of your conscious caution.
Though that still matters, presumably.
Oh, absolutely it matters. But it's increasingly about the sophistication and the continuous evolution of the digital defenses you have proactively put in place. The sources subtly but powerfully hint at the absolutely crucial role of being up to date.
Up to date. There's that phrase again.
It speaks to the ongoing active and proactive nature of digital security, rather than merely reactive caution after the fact. Even the most cautious, diligent user can inadvertently fall victim if their protective measures aren't constantly kept current.
It's like a moving target. The threats are always changing.
Think of it as a relentless digital arms race. New viruses, new methods of attack are developed every single day, sometimes every hour. If your digital defenses aren't keeping pace, if they aren't updated to recognize the latest malware signatures and exploit patterns, then caution alone, no matter how vigilant, simply won't save you. It's a constant battle that requires constant vigilance on the software's part.
Okay, that makes sense. Your software has to keep learning about the new bad guys. Let's dig into that in Section 2. So we've established that even careful browsing isn't always a foolproof shield, which leads us to the surprising culprit, almost casually mentioned in the dialogue, but utterly profound in its implications. The character says, you have to make sure that your antivirus software is updated regularly. Yours wasn't up to date. That's probably what was causing your problems.
Bingo. The smoking gun, often.
This truly highlights a key vulnerability, doesn't it? It turns out the biggest threat might not be your risky browsing habits, though those are certainly important, but rather your consistent maintenance habits, what your protective software isn't doing because it's behind the curve.
Exactly. When we connect this to the bigger picture, the phrase "not up to date" simply means something doesn't have all the most recent information. Straightforward enough.
Right.
But in the specific context of antivirus software, this state is profoundly, almost catastrophically critical. Think of it this way. New viruses, sophisticated malware variants, novel cyber threats emerge literally constantly, sometimes by the minute.
Wow, that fast.
Sometimes, yes. Targeting previously unknown vulnerabilities, often called zero-day exploits. These new threats are meticulously designed to bypass older, known defenses. An outdated antivirus program simply won't recognize these brand new, cutting-edge threats, leaving your computer completely exposed.
Even if it looks like it's running fine.
Even if it looks like it's running perfectly. It's like having a security guard, a really good one, but he's only got mugshots of criminals from last year or last decade.
No.
He'd be utterly useless against today's sophisticated threats because he simply doesn't know what to look for.
That's a great analogy. So this brings us to a crucial, deeper question then. In an age where we rely so heavily on our digital tools for everything, why do we, as users, collectively neglect such a fundamental defense?
It's a puzzle, isn't it? Is it sheer inconvenience? Those constant pop-ups demanding attention, the restarts?
Yeah, nobody likes interrupting their flow for an update.
Or is it what they call update fatigue? The constant barrage of warnings desensitizes us, makes us push updates off for later.
Guilty is charged sometimes.
Perhaps it's simple ignorance, a lack of understanding of the true gravity of the risk involved, or maybe even more insidious, a false sense of security, believing that because we haven't had a problem yet, we won't, or that just being careful is enough.
Right. It won't happen to me.
The implication here is stark and clear. Even the best, most expensive antivirus software is rendered effectively useless, a digital paper tiger, if it's not meticulously kept current.
A paper tiger, I like that. Looks fierce, but no real bite against new threats.
Exactly. It's like building that fortress with incredibly impenetrable walls, but then leaving the front gate, which is under constant assault, with outdated, easily breakable locks. It leaves a gaping, exploitable vulnerability, an open invitation to attack, regardless of how strong the rest of your defenses might be.
It's the critical difference between having a shield and having a shield that's actually effective against the arrows being fired right now.
Beautifully put. That's exactly it.
That distinction is so powerful. And our sources go even further, providing a really wonderful array of examples. They demonstrate just how versatile, indispensable, and fundamentally important the phrase up to date is in loads of different contexts. It's clearly not just about viruses or even computer security.
Absolutely not.
So what does this all mean for us? It means up to date is about far more than just software. It's about relevance, accuracy, functionality in so many aspects of our lives, extending far beyond the digital realm that signifies currency, usefulness, reliability, effectiveness.
Absolutely. The examples provided by our sources brilliantly highlight this widespread relevance. They show how up-to-date becomes a universal metric for quality, effectiveness, reliability.
Okay, like what?
Firstly, consider the statement, I need to buy a new computer because mine isn't up to date.
Right, you hear that a lot.
Here, the phrase refers fundamentally to hardware and software capability, overall performance. An outdated computer simply lacks the processing power, the memory, the graphics capabilities to handle modern demands.
It struggles with new programs or even just streaming video sometime.
Exactly. It might be physically incapable of connecting with new peripherals. It can't keep up with today's fast-paced digital environment. It makes it a frustrating bottleneck.
Okay, so that's performance. What else?
Secondly, we have, I can't find the street. Are you sure this map is up to date?
Ah, the physical world example. Crucial.
This directly addresses the critical importance of accuracy and current information. An outdated map isn't just unhelpful. It's actively misleading, useless, potentially detrimental.
Could lead you completely the wrong way.
Imagine navigating a major city with a map from 20 years ago. New roads, redeveloped neighborhoods, changed one-way streets. It'd be bewildering, futile. The outdated map directly impacts your ability to perform a simple, essential task. Highlights how critical currency is.
Okay, performance, accuracy. What about work?
Thirdly, the professional context. Sarah has just finished the reports and all the information is up to date.
Very important in business.
Critical. Whether you're in business, scientific research, policy making, you absolutely need the most recent figures, the freshest facts, the latest analyses to make informed decisions. Relying on old data leads to flawed conclusions, misguided strategies, potentially disastrous outcomes. Here, up to date signifies trustworthiness, integrity, a complete, accurate, current picture.
Makes sense. And are there positive examples too?
Yes. Our sources also provide affirming examples like, this is a new map, this is the most up-to-date map, or I just got a new computer, all my software is up to date.
Showing the benefits.
Precisely.
Yeah.
These highlight the tangible benefits of having the latest info or tech, increased efficiency, enhanced accuracy, superior security, optimal performance. So what's fascinating is that up-to-date isn't just about avoiding problems, it actively becomes a powerful, pervasive metric for usefulness, reliability, security across an astonishing spectrum.
Making it an absolutely indispensable phrase in our modern lexicon. It's about being effective, productive, safe in a constantly changing world.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
That concept really resonated with me, and it truly hit home for one of our hosts in the source material, Erica. She experienced her computer turning on, and then suddenly it turns off by itself.
Oh, that's a worrying symptom.
Right. So, naturally, she ran a virus scan, and it showed no problem, which for many of us, might be where we stop. Relief, right?
Yeah, you'd think you're okay.
But then she had that immediate, critical aha moment and thought, wait a minute, maybe your antivirus software isn't up to date.
Smart thinking. Connecting the dots.
Exactly. She then concludes, quite practically, I'd better call Samuel, referring to the computer tech from our earlier dialogue. This anecdote perfectly brings the entire discussion full circle, doesn't it? Shows how this abstract knowledge becomes a tangible, practical, actionable step.
It really does. This personal anecdote from Erica brilliantly illustrates the practical, immediate application of this knowledge. Even when an initial scan shows no issue, the possibility of outdated software remains a primary, often the most likely, suspect for a savvy user.
Right. It should still be on your checklist.
Absolutely. It highlights the proactive thinking essential for maintaining digital well-being in this ever-evolving threat landscape. Erica's immediate leap to questioning her software's currency shows she fundamentally understands the core vulnerability we've just discussed.
It empowers you, the user.
Exactly. It reinforces that understanding these seemingly simple terms and the profound implications empowers you to identify potential problems and intelligently seek the right solutions, like reaching out to a trusted computer tech, or Samuel, as the dialogue suggests. It transforms a frustrating mystery into a manageable, logical troubleshooting process, empowers effective action over helpless frustration.
Taking control back. I like that. Okay, let's move on to how we actually talk about these things, beyond just the tech terms. Section 3. So we've explored the frustrating reality of digital glitches, the critical importance of updates. But here's something truly remarkable about the language we use every day. How a few simple words can convey so much meaning, especially when you're dealing with something as frustrating and potentially complex as a misbehaving computer.
Language as a tool for navigating complexity.
Precisely. Our sources give us some absolutely fantastic examples of this, demonstrating how we instinctively rely on natural, almost unconscious phrases to communicate urgent needs or explain technical problems without ever needing obscure, intimidating jargon.
Yeah, cutting through the noise.
This is where it truly gets insightful, I think. How do we naturally, fluently, effectively communicate about technical issues, or even just our immediate needs, without getting hopelessly bogged down in tech jargon, and instead use language that's universally understood and instantly conveys the message?
Well, that's an excellent point. It raises a question for all of us. How do we signal immediate action and provide reassuring certainty in everyday situations, including when seeking urgent tech help?
Right. How do we say help is coming any now?
The phrase, "I'll be right up," used so naturally by Samuel in the dialogue when he's asked to come take a look at my PC, is a perfect example. Quintessential.
Simple, direct.
Exactly. It's direct, inherently polite, and conveys an immediate, unwavering promise of prompt action without needing a detailed explanation of what he was doing. It instantly tells the person seeking help that assistance is imminent. Their plea has been heard and acted upon.
Gives you hope.
It does. And our sources brilliantly illustrate the remarkable flexibility of this phrase, how it adapts to various spatial and situational contexts, shows its universal utility.
How so?
Well, first, can you help me with my computer? I'll be right there.
Okay, right there. General location.
Exactly. There acts as a general indicator of the location, irrespective of upstairs, downstairs, across the room. A broad, reassuring promise of prompt arrival.
Got it.
Second, come downstairs, dinner's ready, I'll be right down.
Specific direction, downwards.
Right. Signaling immediate response to a call from a lower level. Concise, efficient. Conveys assent and intent to move swiftly. Shows understanding of spatial relationship.
Makes sense.
Third, and often with a touch of urgency, hurry up, I need to use the bathroom, I'll be right out.
Ah, yes. The classic bathroom scenario.
Signifies an almost instantaneous departure from a contained space. The urgency makes right out crucial for conveying almost immediate availability, a promise to vacate with utmost speed, direct response to a pressing need.
Minimal delay implied.
Exactly. And what's truly fascinating here is how incredibly universal this phrase is. It effortlessly transcends the specific technical context. One of the hosts in the source shares that highly relatable anecdote, growing up with two sisters, always fighting for the bathroom.
Ah, I can imagine.
Leading to hearing, "Just a minute, I'll be right out," constantly. This perfectly humanizes the language, doesn't it? Vividly illustrating how a simple phrase from childhood squabbles over bathroom access can be directly applied to getting critical tech support.
That's brilliant. It really underlines that core human need for things to happen quickly and a clear signal that a request is being acted on.
It's a phrase deeply imbued with reassurance and immediate commitment, a linguistic shortcut for "don't worry, help is coming," and fast.
That bathroom anecdote truly hit home for me. I can absolutely relate. And that brings us to another incredibly useful phrase from our sources. It turns out that...
Yes, the reveal phrase.
Exactly. This one is just fantastic for delivering a crucial piece of information you've just discovered, especially after some diligent investigation like running a virus scan.
The result of the investigation.
Right. It's that moment when you've delved into a problem. Maybe you were perplexed, and now you have the definitive answer, often one that might be surprising or unexpected. So what does this all mean for us? It's absolutely perfect for those aha moments of revelation and discovery.
It lets you present a new finding or a diagnostic result in an incredibly clear, straightforward, impactful way. Signals a shift from uncertainty to clarity.
Okay, explain that a bit more. How is it a powerful tool?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it turns out that is an extraordinarily powerful linguistic tool for conveying new information, or, critically, the precise result of an inquiry, investigation, or diagnostic process. It effectively sets up a revelation, often subtly implying that previous assumptions might have been incorrect, or the truth has only just been painstakingly uncovered.
Ah, okay. It gives a sense of resolution.
Precisely. In the direct context of our deep dive into computer issues, it's used to state a diagnostic result with impactful clarity. I ran a virus scan on your computer, and it turns out that you have a lot of infected files.
Simple, clear, direct. This is what I found.
Exactly. It's the perfect way to deliver crucial, often unwelcome information after an examination. It unequivocally signals the speaker has conducted a thorough investigation, maybe a complex one, and this is the undeniable finding. The truth.
And the sources gave other examples too, right? Not just tech.
Oh yes, brilliantly highlighting its broad application. Frank didn't come to work today, and it turns out that he was sick.
Explains the situation. Resolves the why.
Effortlessly explains a situation, provides the underlying reason, resolves the mystery of his absence. Clear, concise explanation.
And the funny one.
Ah, yes, the wonderfully humorous example. I've been feeling really sick recently. It turns out that I'm pregnant.
Huh. Okay, definitely a surprising revelation there.
Shows its remarkable utility for delivering a surprising, maybe shocking, revelation, often in jest. Masterfully leverages the phrase's nature of presenting an unexpected outcome or sudden discovery.
So this phrase, it turns out that it really sets up a revelation. Makes it invaluable for sharing findings, technical diagnoses, everyday mysteries, humorous updates.
It conveys that the information is the result of discovery or investigation, adds significant weight and clarity, brings hidden truths to light.
So whether you're telling someone, "I'll be right there," to help with their digital woes, or explaining, "It turns out that you have a virus," after a tech check. These deceptively simple phrases truly bridge that formidable gap between complex technical issues and simple, relatable, everyday conversations.
They really do.
They empower all of us to communicate effectively, concisely, empathetically, without needing a dense dictionary of obscure tech jargon. They make tech talk feel human.
Exactly. These phrases fundamentally simplify communication around potentially complex, frustrating, often intimidating issues. They powerfully demonstrate that you absolutely do not need highly specialized esoteric vocabulary to understand and discuss common computer problems. More often than not, the most natural-sounding everyday phrases are unequivocally the most effective.
Focusing on the outcome, the action needed.
Right. They allow for rapid, clear, efficient exchanges that focus intently on the outcome or immediate action required, rather than getting hopelessly bogged down in the intricate, often overwhelming complexities. This inherent accessibility of language is absolutely key to making technology feel less intimidating, more manageable, ultimately more approachable for everyone.
Lowers the barrier to getting help and understanding solutions.
Precisely.
Okay, that's really helpful. Now, quickly before we wrap up, let's touch on a few other key terms our sources mentioned. Section 4. That's a crucial point about accessibility. It's about knowing enough to communicate effectively, not necessarily becoming an expert ourselves. Now, beyond the core concepts of viruses, frozen computers, everyday phrases, our sources gave us a treasure trove of other related vocabulary.
Useful context.
These terms further help round out our practical understanding of the digital world. Phrases you'll hear and use often, whether you realize it or not. They provide more context to the ecosystem where these problems happen.
Yeah, well, we've just done a deep dive into the core concepts defining problems and solutions. It's certainly worth briefly expanding on other essential terms. They broaden and enrich your practical digital vocabulary, as highlighted in the source's audio review. These terms aren't just isolated definitions, they fill out a more complete picture of the digital landscape. Roles, interfaces, types of issues.
Okay, like, who's first?
First, let's talk about the computer tech. This is the essential Samuel role we encountered earlier.
Right, the fixer.
The indispensable person, often in a company or IT department, whose primary responsibility is to fix computers. But computer tech can refer to a broad range of specialists. Basic troubleshooting printer issues, software errors,
The everyday stuff.
then hardware fixes replacing hard drives, RAM, or larger scale, network administrators managing complex systems, ensuring connectivity for hundreds,
Keeping the whole place running.
and increasingly, cybersecurity experts dealing with advanced threats, data breaches. Regardless of niche, they are the troubleshooters, the problem solvers, the digital first responders, bringing our digital lives back online.
Often under pressure, too.
Immense pressure to quickly restore functionality and security. Their expertise isn't just fixing parts, it's understanding complex digital ecosystems, proactively preventing problems. The unsung heroes, really.
Definitely. Okay, who's next?
Next, the ubiquitous monitor computer screen.
What we stare at all day.
Fundamentally, the physical interface we interact with most directly, where we see everything happening, where applications display info, and where, most frustratingly, that frozen image often appears, signaling a system halt.
The window to our digital world.
Exactly. It's the primary visual output. Without it, powerful machines are just black boxes. Common issues here. Flickering screens, dead pixels, maybe more severe problems indicating graphics card issues or hardware malfunction, all impacting our ability to interact.
Got it. What about files again? You mentioned infected files.
Right. Then we delve into the corrupt file. Our source defines this as a file that's damaged or broken and consequently can't be opened.
Damaged or broken, how's that different from infected?
Crucial distinction. A corrupt file is distinct from an infected file. Although a virus could cause corruption as part of its malicious activity, but a corrupt file isn't necessarily malicious in origin. It might result from a sudden power loss during a save.
Oh, like the power flickers off.
Exactly. Incomplete data writing. Or a software crash terminating a program while a file is accessed. Or even a faulty storage drive developing bad sectors.
So often accidental damage.
Frequently. The key difference is often intent. A virus wants to harm and spread. Corruption is often accidental damage, a byproduct of unforeseen circumstances, though equally frustrating. Understanding this helps troubleshooting. A corrupt file might be fixable with repair tools or restoring from backup. An infected file typically needs antivirus intervention, maybe removal.
Different problem, different solution. That's useful. Okay, one more.
Finally, a vital set of terms related to how we engage with the online world. Browse surf the net web browser.
Where the trouble often starts.
Often precisely where viruses are unwittingly picked up or downloaded. These terms describe the actions and the indispensable tools for navigating the internet. To browse or surf the net refers to looking at websites, often casually, exploring, clicking link to link.
Just looking around online.
A web browser, on the other hand, is the specific program Chrome, Firefox, Safari, Edge that acts as your window to the internet. Allows access, viewing, interaction.
Tool you use to browse.
Exactly. Without a browser, the internet's a closed book for most. Understanding these gives a more nuanced vocabulary for online activities and, critically, identifying potential vulnerability points. Knowing about browser extensions, pop-up blockers, secure settings, that can be just as crucial as antivirus.
Right. Browser hygiene is important too.
Definitely. Issues like your browser running slowly, constant unwanted ads, redirecting to strange sites often point towards browser-specific malware or unwanted extensions. Not always a virus, maybe, but certainly digital nuisances needing attention.
Okay, so that broader context is really helpful. Computer techs, monitors, different types of file problems, how we browse. It fills out the picture.
It does. This comprehensive context provides a truly fuller picture of the intricate digital landscape, the essential vocabulary. It empowers you to articulate not just what is wrong, but also where the problem might have originated and who can help resolve it. Builds a robust mental model.
Fantastic. Okay, I think that brings us nicely to wrapping up this deep dive. Hashtag tag outro. So we've truly taken a comprehensive deep dive today, haven't we? Started right at the heart of that sheer frustration, a computer acting up or completely frozen, feeling that raw, relatable pain.
That visceral reaction.
Then we meticulously peel back the layers to deeply understand what a virus truly is. An insidious, intentionally designed program aimed specifically at harming your computer, distinguishing it from everyday glitches.
The malicious intent being key.
From there, we explored in detail why staying up to date isn't merely a good idea, but an absolutely critical, proactive defense against these increasingly sophisticated digital threats.
An ongoing necessity.
We saw how this vital concept applies universally not just antivirus software, but maps, reports, showcasing its profound relevance for accuracy, reliability, security in all facets of life.
Across the board, really.
And finally, we uncovered the surprising power of everyday phrases, seeing how natural expressions like, "I'll be right up," and "it turns out that," transform into powerful, efficient tools for navigating complex technical issues with clarity and natural ease.
Making the complex communicable.
It's truly amazing how the language we use every day, often without a second thought, can be so potent and effective in some of the most frustrating situations.
And what's profoundly fascinating here, I think, is how seemingly minor technical glitches and deceptively simple phrases reveal a much larger, more significant truth about our fundamental relationship with technology itself.
How deeply embedded it is.
Exactly. It's not about transforming every listener into a computer expert. It's about empowering you to be an exceptionally informed user and, crucially, an effective communicator. The discomfort, the frustration, even that primal urge to kick the computer when devices fail, vividly underscore how deeply, inextricably integrated they are into the very fabric of our lives.
Which makes understanding them and how to talk about them vital.
Absolutely crucial. This integration makes it essential to understand not just the basics of operation and maintenance, but also the nuances of how we articulate their misbehavior. If we connect this to the bigger picture, this deep dive eloquently shows us that understanding the why behind common computer problems and having the right, precise words to describe them can fundamentally transform what might initially feel like overwhelming, insurmountable frustration into manageable, actionable challenges.
Turning frustration into action.
It empowers you to take control, ask the right, incisive questions, and confidently seek appropriate, effective solutions. This deep dive fundamentally shifts your perspective from being a passive victim of technology to an empowered, informed participant in your digital life.
A really positive takeaway.
Which leads me to an incredibly important question for you, our dedicated listener. Given the constant, relentless evolution of technology, the ever-emerging digital challenges we all face, the increasing reliance we place on our devices, how might actively staying up to date, not just on your software and operating systems, but profoundly on your understanding of how these complex systems work, why they sometimes fail, and most importantly, the clear, natural language to describe them, how might all that truly impact your daily efficiency, your digital security, your overall productivity, and fundamentally, your peace of mind?
Something to think about long after this deep dive ends.
It's something truly worth mulling over as you continue to navigate your own dynamic and evolving digital world.